Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Grave, the podcast where I talk to friends, family, and even strangers about their paranormal experiences. This week's episode will include two different guests who will be detailing their experiences with sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is something that I teased before this season even came out, and it's a topic that I am very interested in, and although I've not experienced personally, have a deep desire to understand more fully. The topic was briefly discussed on my episode featuring Maggie, but today's episode will focus entirely on sleep paralysis and what Barnett and Felicia have experienced in this sleep-like state. In a nutshell, sleep paralysis is when you wake up or are beginning to wake up and you can't move your limbs or really any part of your body. You can't scream. You pretty much have no choice but to lay there until you're able to quote-unquote wake yourself up. The reason this is applicable to this podcast is because when people are in this state of sleep paralysis, they often cite seeing some very creepy things. Most notably are shadow figures, and I would submit that the most notable shadow figure is that of the Hat Man. Now, he's more rare than just your general shadow figure, but this is a worldwide phenomenon, as you'll hear in mine and Barnett's discussion. And obviously there are many theories as to what people believe causes sleep paralysis. You could blame it on mass hysteria, our general perception of a boogeyman, so to speak. People have attributed it to various causes, whether that's trauma, bad habits, whether it's alcohol or eating. The reasons ascribed to sleep paralysis vary widely. And while science has come up with probable reasons for why people experience these things, I have a working theory that it's not so black and white, and that when you're in the state of sleep paralysis, the veil, if you will, is at its thinnest, and your perception of what's beyond may be more readily revealed to you. I will be discussing this theory and others in episode 10, which will be the season finale for season 2. That episode will feature myself and my good friend Colin Carr, who will be interviewing me, and we will be delving into my personal thoughts on certain things concerning the paranormal. So I'll be giving you updates on that, but as it is, this intro is going on for too long. So as I said, today's interview features two people. I will be starting you off with a little sleep paralysis appetizer with Felicia, and then we will jump right into Barnett's segment. So without further ado, I give you Felicia and Barnett. Hey, you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, of course. This is exciting.
I'm glad you're intrigued and are interested. Now that I have a season done, but a few other people have actually been reaching out. I've been like, this is great.
Oh, good.
Just needed that first season to get people intrigued.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. So we are recording. I'm assuming you've listened.
Yes,
you know, you know how this goes.
Cool. I have my notes app open too because I've written all this down.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm trying to remember. So,
no problem.
Okay, so my first experience with sleep paralysis was, I think around 2007. So I was 16, 17. I was spending the night at my cousin's new house. Her and her husband had just bought it. So I was sleeping over one weekend and I was staying in their guest room, and I can remember in my dream, the room was exactly how it was in real world, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Well, so here, and actually so you say in your dream, it was like the real world. So in your mind, are you 100% asleep, or are you awake and kind of in the middle of the dream awake phase?
The way I remember it is I saw myself in the bed. So like
an out of body situation.
Yeah, like an out of body experience. And I felt this immense pressure on my chest, like someone was sitting on top of me. Yeah. And it didn't feel, I don't want to say evil because I don't think it was evil, but it felt mean.
Like it was doing it to hurt you or
yeah,
affect you.
Yeah. And I saw myself struggling, like I couldn't move at all. And it was just like really weird experience. And I don't necessarily remember like how I got out of it or like if I woke up or anything. But like that was like the first time that I was like, this isn't normal. Like I couldn't move.
In your dream, you were out, for all intents and purposes, out of your body, kind of watching yourself in bed.
Yes.
And you were sleeping.
I was sleeping.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you watched yourself starting to react to this pressure on your chest, but you also felt it.
Yes.
As your
yeah, as I'm
self.
Watching it, I guess.
That's wild. Yeah, it's I mean, obviously the pressure on the chest is part of the sleep paralysis, but
yeah.
It's just interesting to have like that almost like astral projection aspect.
Yes, I'm fascinated with astral projection and lucid dreaming and all of that type of stuff. So like,
so you watch this happen, and then you don't remember like kind of how either it stopped or if you just kind of...
No, that I can't remember. I just like woke up, but it obviously has stuck with me for all these years. And I told my cousin the next morning, and she mentioned that the previous owner had passed away. I don't know if it was in the house or if he was still attached to the house, but like it did feel like a male like presence.
Yeah.
But I don't know necessarily. So like she said she's never had like any experience in that house or whatever, but yeah.
That's interesting too. I actually, before we move on, I have one note here. Just as far as your like general sleep patterns go, do you like, are you notorious for like sleep talking, sleep walking? Do you like snore? Like, what is your kind of routine?
I am a very light sleeper. Like any type of movement will wake me up. I don't necessarily sleep talk, but I do like occasionally make noises. I don't know.
All right, moving on.
Okay, so my next sleep paralysis experience, I think this is the most sleep paralysis experience I've had. I was like 18 or 19 and I was living at my mom's house. So I was sleeping in my room there. And the way my room is set up was my bed was on one wall and I had a futon like across the room on the opposite wall, but it was facing my bed. And again, I was sleeping. My boyfriend at the time was sleeping over, and in my dream world, it's exactly how it was in the real world. This time it wasn't an out-of-body experience. Like I was in bed and I see this figure. It's all black and is like wearing a cloak, and it stands up from the futon and it like starts walking, not necessarily walking, it's more like floating to like my side of the bed.
Yeah.
And it's like in a creepy voice, I could still hear it. It's like, look what I found. And like a sing-songy voice. And it's
was
like,
it like high pitch like that? Or was it like...
Yeah. And it had like, I can like picture its hand like doing like a creepy like, I don't know, like claw,
like a bunny rabbit,
like, sneaking over to my bedside. And it's going, God. Look what I found. And I'm like freaking out. I can't move. I'm trying to talk. And my boyfriend like wakes me up and he like shook me awake. And I was like, who's here? Someone's in the room. Someone's here. And he goes, what are you talking about? I was like, there's someone in the room. He goes, you were making like a lot of noises. And I was worried. Like it sounded like you were in distress. And I was like, I told him what I saw. And he's like, oh, that's weird. And then went back to sleep. And I like could not fall back asleep.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
When you heard the voice, was it a recognizable voice, or you like it was just like the creepy voice that you've never placed before in your life?
Yeah, just a creepy voice I've never heard before. The figure itself was like scary, and I was like, this is weird. But when it started saying, look what I found, I was like, nope. Like that's when like true paralysis set in. I couldn't move, and it was I
hear you. All right, great. Moving on.
Great. Okay, so yeah, that was like 2008, 2009. And then I was never had an experience again until like 10 years later in 2019.
Bless.
Yeah. This happened like early morning, like 5 a.m., between 5 and 6 a.m. because my husband gets up early for work. And whenever he gets up, like I said, I'm a light sleeper. So I knew he was getting ready for work and everything. And he leaves. I guess I fall back asleep. I feel like someone get into bed again. And sometimes he does that if he has like enough time in the morning. He'll just like get back in bed for a few minutes. So I reach over and I realize there's no one in bed. And then my whole body got chills and I couldn't move after that. And I was like, there's someone laying next to me. And then I felt like it was like an evil entity
Menacing
or whatever.
presence.
Yeah. I opened my eyes and I like looked around. No one was there. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to be up for the rest of the morning. As soon as I felt that no one was there, like I couldn't move.
So you're laying there, you feel something lay in bed with you. Like you rolled over and saw he wasn't there in real life.
I felt he wasn't there. Like when I like rolled over, I reached my arm out and the bed was empty. So like I never opened my eyes, but I was like, still like half dreaming, half awake.
But you rolled.
But I rolled.
Right.
I rolled over and I felt no one was there, even after feeling something getting into bed. And as soon as I felt that it was empty, I was like, oh no. And this like my whole body became like really cold and I couldn't move from there. I don't know if I was like too afraid to move or if it was, but I felt like a presence in the room.
Yeah. So see, that's what I'm talking about. That's,
yeah.
Because because sleep paralysis, for as far as I've never read like a case where it's like, oh, I was moving all over the place, but I was still going through sleep paralysis. Like if you're moving, I think you can toss the sleep paralysis out the window for the most part.
Yeah, I guess.
And it's not like, and it's also not like you didn't see something, you felt something not on you in the bed.
Yes.
So that to me is like, when I read that, I was like, oh my goodness. That's pretty wild to me. That's like, and is this the house? Did this happen in this house that you're currently in?
This house, yeah. So like we had just moved in. We were only here, I guess. We moved in August, and I want to say this happened like maybe September, October. So we weren't here for very long. It's still very new.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
has there been anything else that, apart from that, like nothing like in the house that's been...
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm just checking.
I haven't had any experiences. No.
Okay. Good to know.
Hey, man.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fine. It's funny. I was on the train to my house, and I was like, I think this is the first time we've ever spoken in person.
Well, you were at what, DTS long time ago, right?
Well, I was at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts with you shot a short, I think, with Aaliyah and Ben Reno a while back.
And all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we did meet in passing around that time.
It's very possible.
Somewhere in Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
Maybe the Funny Bar or something. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
It's good to see you again after 14 years.
I know. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, my wife was like, "Who is this guy?" I was like, "Oh, we know each other." We're I mean, really, I was like, I think we're just. I know he's a big film guy. He's a screenwriter, and I was like, I'm an aspiring one of those. So I was like, I think we just have a general passion for that. But this is great. I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah, man, it's all good. If Facebook's good for something once every blue moon, right?
Yeah, no, it worked out. I was pleasantly surprised. And like I said, a lot of people I talk to, it's like I know them, or it's someone I went to school with or something. But to get someone like you, who I really don't know too well, I think it's I'm actually very excited to get your side of the story here.
Well, like I said, it's also funny because I've been doing a lot of research into it the last year anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'm writing something having to do with it too. So
right, and that's also very interesting to me because obviously it's somewhat near and dear to you, and for me, I mean obviously I want this to be predominantly about sleep paralysis. I guess to start, what is obviously this is a paranormal podcast. What is your view, I guess, on the paranormal as a whole? Obviously, we don't need to delve too deep into your personal beliefs, but kind of want to get your sense on that topic just to start things off.
I mean, I'm mostly ambivalent towards it.
Okay.
If that's an okay way to answer.
Always is, yeah.
I think most of us these days are agnostic when it comes to all things religious or supernatural. We're willing to believe in things, but we also tend to investigate things a little bit more before we say we do or do not believe in A, B, or C. So
Sure.
I am one of those people, you have experiences. You like to think things, you like to believe in things, but at the same time, there might just be nothing out there, and that's A-okay. We need people to prove things before we go off kilter in our descriptions or our understandings.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. Where it's like, I mean, that's honestly the point of this podcast is to kind of, bring people's personal experiences to light and hopefully get enough of those accumulated to the point where it's like, it's hard to discredit a lot of this stuff. But that's good to know, and I love having a either agnostic or even an atheistic perspective of this, because it gives definitely a different viewpoint and a different lens to the whole conversation. So when you initially, it was funny. I was going back because I had posted that, like, have you seen the Hat Man post, and your response was just, I've had a lot of experience with this. I was like, that's perfect. I was like, that's all I needed to hear. So let's get into it. I kind of just let's start with the post. And just to be clear, I'd love to, I don't know how long it's been going on with you. I literally know nothing about your experience. So if at all applicable, would love to have kind of like your earliest remembrances of your experiences with sleep paralysis and shadow figures of the Hat Man. But I would like to start with that post of the Hat Man. Have you had an experience with something like the Hat Man?
I mean, my experience, what I saw when I was a child and a teenager predominantly, was a tall, shadowy figure, no hat.
Okay.
But I think that the connection between most people who see something or have those hallucinatory moments is that they're seeing some sort of a figure that's connected by culture. Some people see the hat, some people see a bald man, some people see that little creature. You know that painting, the mayor, right?
No.
Okay, if you're doing something on sleep paralysis, look up the painting, the mayor.
Yeah.
Like 300 years ago. It's a little demon on a woman's chest. I'm sure you've seen the painting with the horse behind them. It's
Maybe.
called the mayor. It's a demon. I'm forgetting if it's Scandinavian or German or what, but it was called the mayor, and it was known to bring you bad dreams, and it's based off of what people hallucinated during experiences of sleep paralysis, and it's literally where the term nightmare comes from.
Okay. Yeah. That would make sense.
Cool information for people to know.
Yeah.
For me, it was always just a very tall, very thin individual, all black, no other descriptors, really.
Okay. So if you wouldn't mind, let's delve into kind of, so you said when you were a kid and when you were a teenager, you experienced this. I guess just for my own sake, it was always the same figure, right?
Yeah, it was always at 11:11 p.m. or 3:33 a.m.
No way, really?
Every single time. Yeah.
Really?
One or the other. Yeah.
That's wild.
And
Okay.
when I was about 4, but I also suffered from severe what is it called? Night terrors.
Yep.
The kid also, and I think they just
Coincided.
conflated the two at a certain point. Yeah. So when I was a little boy, it was mostly just seeing the creature, feeling like I was being suffocated, the usual things. When I was
the pressure on the chest and all that stuff.
a teenager, up until my young adulthood, I would say until like 21, 22, that's when it kind of just stopped for me out of nowhere. It was the same thing, as a little bit more vivid detail, usually coming from an open doorway of some sort. And usually when I was facing forward, even though like I know a lot of people experience it too, when you're not facing forward, when you're sleeping on your stomach or your side, you can still kind of feel something there without seeing it. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So I guess, can you maybe pinpoint like one or two, like two of the more vivid experiences you had, like whether you were a child or a teenager, that you kind of just remember waking up, being like, I can't move my limbs, and seeing this figure or whatever coming at you?
Sure. I mean, I could tell you the two most vivid, probably.
Yes, let's do it.
When I was a little bit older, I was, and there's another story behind this one you'll like as a supernatural guy, that I don't know if it's really connected to sleep paralysis, but
Bring it
there
on.
was one specific house in Long Island. I'm not going to say locations or anything because I don't want to be doxxed here.
There.
But my whole family was kind of having weird experiences in this place, and I'll get back to that if you want to get back to that later.
Love to. Yep.
But in one specific room, everyone seemed to be having the same experiences, me more so than other people.
Okay.
Seeing like the ceiling fan turning when there was no reason for it to be turning, doors opening by themselves, my dog going ape shit.
Yeah.
But all of us, especially me, would always see a figure in the closet, which was directly across from the bed. And yeah, the most vivid time I saw that, the ceiling fan was turning, the closet door was opening, my dog bolted because she was a little cowardice thing.
The dogs know, man. The dogs know.
They know. They know. And you kind of felt like the hands on the throat and all that jazz. But when I had woken up, usually it would just, you can say to yourself it was all a dream. But I remember waking up and the ceiling fan was still spinning, the door was still open, and the closet light was on.
Oh.
Yeah, so fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually eerily reminiscent of a experience I had in a hotel in Spain where like that's the same stuff. It wasn't sleep paralysis for me because I've never experienced that as far as I know, but it was I would shut a door at night, I would leave a light on, and I'd wake up and like the light would be off, the door would be open, the sink in the bathroom would be running, like it was like just the
And you'll know like you did not get up.
it's like that's not how I left it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was happening to you. Did it happen? You said it was happening to other family members?
Yeah, and again, like whether you want to use this or not, and I'll get back to it later, like we had issues in that one specific house more so than any others, and this is where the sleep paralysis got really particularly bad for me.
Okay.
Everyone in the house always felt like they were being watched, especially my sister who lived in the basement apartment. That's where she was experiencing some of these symptoms as well.
Okay.
And my dog, like I said, she was a cowardly little shit. She would always bark at like one particular room under the stairs. And like there's like a New York Times article about this house that we found later on.
Oh my God.
But my sister always felt like she was being watched, especially when she was sleeping in her bedroom. And she almost felt like an aversion to mirrors, especially one particular mirror. And we later found out, like when we were leaving the house, actually, that the prior owner was arrested and died in prison, specifically because he was watching the girl who lived in his basement apartment through cameras hidden behind the mirrors, and we found one of the cameras, and the room in which he was monitoring her was the room that my dog was always barking
freaking out in. Oh my God.
So yeah, so it was like, it was almost like, yeah, for someone who doesn't believe in this shit, it was like
that's too real.
exactly. But that was like the most vivid experience, like a slew of them in that one particular environment. Like I said, for me, it kind of just petered out and stopped when I was in my early 20s, probably around the time I was in college, actually.
Okay, that's also so interesting because like
one of my roommates actually left because I would wake up screaming bloody murder.
he was like, this isn't conducive.
Yeah, a little too much.
Yeah. So but it's so interesting that your sister felt like she was being watched, and obviously the guy who used to live there was watching
the previous tenant.
Yeah. And he was dead at this time?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's eerie to me. That's I don't know how you're agnostic on it.
Well, because there are still ways to explain certain things.
There's always ways to explain certain
there are no definites, is what I'll say.
Sure.
I'm a person who believes in definites more so than anything, but I'm also willing to accept that sometimes things can't be explained.
Fair enough. Okay. So all right, now you got me. I'm off on a different tangent now. Let's go into, so that was the first kind of more vivid experience you had. Let's hit the second one, and then I just want to hear a little more about this house and kind of what was going on there.
It wasn't really a singular thing, that one. That was like when I was a child.
Yep.
It was just the same thing every night, which was actually when I was a kid, it was multiple figures. There
were multiple figures in the room?
Yes.
Were they all in the closet, or were they?
No, the closet thing was when I was a teenager and older.
Oh, okay.
When I was a little kid, and I'm talking like anywhere from like 3 to 6 years old.
Okay.
It was always a group of things.
Like shadowy.
Surrounding me, yeah.
Surrounding your bed?
And I remember very few things. I have a terrible memory, but that's one thing I don't forget is that quote unquote dream.
Yeah, let's see. We'll call it a dream for now. Sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is wild because this coincides with an experience I had in my bedroom when I was younger. But so let's just, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of briefly walking me through. Would you say you were sleeping, or did you wake up and you were in that kind of sleep-like state, but you knew you were somewhat awake?
I think when I was that young, I didn't know how to describe it.
Mhm.
But looking back, especially once I was old enough to start understanding things, yeah, it was early sleep paralysis and what they called night terrors when I was a kid.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, basically the amalgamizing of reality and fiction, so to speak.
The blending. Yeah. Were there any identifiable features to any of these?
Like I said, for me, I was never able to see faces or hats or anything like that. The one thing I remember is that they were all the same size.
Just
identical.
Cohesive unit of shadowy figures.
Yeah, even when they were like 5 or 6, it was just like copies upon copies.
And they were just like surrounding your bed?
Yeah.
Did they ever, they just stood there?
They touched me. I that's all I remember is that's all I can say without getting like weird about it. Just like laying their hands on me.
Okay, almost like a sacrificial thing. Yeah.
Well, I never thought of that, but
yeah, cult-like situation. Okay. God, this is wild.
And again, it's like one of those things. It's like a vivid dream from when you were a child, and who knows.
And so, all right. So just to clarify too, so when you kind of shook yourself out of that state or that dream, you woke up, or you did they just disappear, or like how did that transition?
That I don't quite remember. I think usually, especially when I was older and you had those experiences, you would try to wake yourself up. It's like lucid dreaming almost. You convince yourself this is only a dream, right?
Right.
Kind of like when you're having an anxiety attack, you can bring it to an end by convincing yourself this is just an anxiety attack. You're going to be okay. Yep. Your mind is suddenly connecting with your body and slowing things down. With the sleep paralysis, I think what I realized when I was like probably a preteen moving on to my teenhood was that if I could convince myself that what I was seeing was not there in front of me, then it would go away. So,
and did it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I would wake up screaming a lot when I was older, is because like that's a way to kind of end those dreams. Sometimes you scream, you wake up, you bolt up, and then nothing is there.
Right. Right. Okay. And again, because this is not an experience that I've had. So, and I have my own theory on this.
And that is the scariest part, by the way, when you're trying to scream and you can't because you can't even move your mouth, and you kind of have like air building up inside of you until it finally just bursts out. Yeah.
So, and just to clarify again, because I've spoken to a few people, not necessarily on the podcast about this, but just in general, and it seems to me that a lot of these people, their experience is very similar to yours, where they, in their dream or in reality, whatever you believe, everything is the same in their room. Like everything is.
Yeah, nothing's different.
Right. It's all reality is as it is in the dream, or vice versa.
It's like augmented reality versus virtual reality.
Right. And so my question, I guess, is, was there any difference in your paralysis state that you're like, oh wait, this is not real because this is off, or anything like that?
No. I mean, again, the one thing I always noticed, well, there was the whole closet thing when I was older.
Right.
But one thing that I always noticed, and this is going back to the time when I was like maybe 6 years old, was the clock. And that would be one of the times. That would be one of the things that would tell me this is part of what you usually experience. Is if I look at the clock and it's 11 p.m., I knew, okay, this is just that same experience occurring again.
And you also said 3:33, right?
And 3:33 when I was older, yeah.
So did you ever give thought to any demonic?
No, not really, but it would always end by 3:34. Yeah, but it feels much longer than it actually is.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it'd feel like an eternity, I'm sure. Okay, so to recap, when you were younger, you would experience multiple shadow figures standing around your bed. When you were in your teens, you would experience someone in your closet and different either lights or your door would be open when you woke up.
Yes, and that figure would approach.
The figure from the closet would approach your bed.
His approach, yeah.
Would you wake up before he or it made its way?
No, you feel them.
Can you please just go a little deeper into that? Like, what do you mean you feel them? Like you feel them touching you?
Yeah, and I don't really know how to explain that so much. Like, the memory from when I was a child was you can see the hands and feel the hands, but the memory when I was a little older and you would see this thing approaching is that the closer it would get, the more pressure you would feel in your chest.
Okay.
Until it was basically on top of you, and it almost feels like you're having a heart attack.
More of like an atmospheric thing, like the room just got, like everything got closer and
No,
more.
there's a severe pressure.
Okay.
There. Yeah, it's not like a room thing. It's like there's something pushing down on you.
Yeah, because that's also what I've read and heard from a lot of people too, is that you get that pressure on your chest where it feels like you're, beginning to suffocate.
And if you're not facing it on your stomach, sometimes like and you can feel it.
Right.
And the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, all that jazz, and you feel its breath. Then it's you ever go to like Disney and they have that old ride when we were kids? I think it's gone now. The one in Florida where the alien escapes.
Oh, yeah.
4D thing, and you can feel it like licking the back of your neck and stuff like that. It's kind of like that experience.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty crazy. So it was, and this happened to you multiple times, both instances as a child and in your later years. This stuff happened on a fairly regular basis, or was it like once a month? Like, what was the?
It depended
frequency
on the age, I guess, and what was going down. I think trauma has a lot to do with it because I didn't have an especially easy childhood. And I think most people I know who've experienced similar things had similar traumas in some ways. And I think that has a lot to do with it personally.
I would agree. People who I've spoken to, not necessarily about sleep paralysis, but other things.
Psychological issues.
Psychological, but the trauma in general, strictly speaking on a paranormal level, I believe can open up certain pathways for spirits to,
well, I mean, even
do what they do.
Even Lovecraft has written about this. I'm sure you know.
I know HP. Yep.
From Beyond, right?
I have not read it, but
that's the one where the guy creates the machine. You flip it on, and suddenly, like because of a gland in your body or something, you're able to see things on a different plane. That always is there.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, it really is. That's like it speaks. There's this element of truth to that for sure. I mean, I think there's an element of truth in a lot of Lovecraft, but that like just that thin veil, like.
Correct.
Necessarily.
Well, that's the whole shadow person thing that's existed for millennia. And I remember reading something that I thought was really interesting about how sleep is actually a defense mechanism against things that we can't see. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a very...
People with trauma specifically, or people who are fucked up, they're unable to employ the same defense mechanism as everybody else. That's something that I read that was cool.
Yeah, no, that's I had actually never heard of that. That's very interesting. Is there before, like I said, I want to touch base on your what I believe is a haunted house, but is there anything else you want to just drop out there that you want either people to know about sleep paralysis, or there's another component to your experiences that you want to discuss?
No, I think one of the coolest parts about it, and again, cool as insofar as scary is concerned, is just, and I'm sure you talk about this in your podcast, just that it goes back thousands of years, and different cultures, different people in different countries who've never met before, have never had any contact whatsoever, experience the exact same things over the course of those millennia in inexplicable ways. And they all have different names for these so-called boogeymen. Different backstories, different legends. It's all folk horror and folklore, and it's very Candyman-esque in a lot of ways, which I love about it. But to say, it's a reality that all of these people are experiencing, and whether you attribute it to mass hysteria or something else, which your podcast is about, I think it's a pretty neat conversation to have. I
completely agree. Like I said,
it's not esoteric, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, and it's so. The Hat Man is what kind of got me on to the sleep paralysis in general, and it's that shared experience that everyone has that kind of has been driving me to kind of dig a little deeper into this and figure out, it doesn't make sense to me that so many people have this type of experience, and it's just a combination of stress and, life trauma that creates this visual for you. I personally feel like it's more than that. But that's more or less why I wanted to talk to you and other people about it, because as someone who hasn't had an experience like that, really, it's very interesting to me to get these different perspectives.
And that's the scientific perspective in a lot of ways. Like, again, people can research this. It's literally where nightmares came from, the term. But a lot of people think it's also where the boogeyman comes from, or the concept of the boogeyman, right?
Yeah.
And if you go back even further, you can say that even things like the tooth fairy kind of derive from experiences of sleep paralysis as experienced by children.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of what we get, at least in like horror today, cinema at least, is derived from this type of stuff. I think it's also interesting to me that, as just given your perspective on the paranormal, that you're just like, yeah, it was some weird stuff that, because I can't explain it, but it's probably, there's probably a reason for it. And to your point, I try to be somewhat scientific about this stuff. And I don't just want to be like, it's all real, but at the same time, that's some crazy stuff that doesn't have a very apt explanation for why it happened. But if you wouldn't mind indulging me for a few minutes more, the house. Yeah, like I said, you don't need to give me much detail, but as far as like location or anything, but I would love to just kind of get the Spark Notes version of kind of what was going on there.
But what do you want me to talk about? Like,
well, I guess you said your entire family was experiencing things. And I know you had said that you would.
Yeah, visitors too. Like when people would visit, they would see the same things. And
as you were seeing, or is it other stuff?
Like the family was seeing, like they would see the fans turning. They would feel like they were being watched, and without us even telling them what we were experiencing.
Okay, so everyone had the same type of experiences.
Yeah.
So was there any experience that happened in that house that was maybe more serious than just the fans and anything like that? Like, did anyone end up seeing like an actual apparition or anything, or was it just?
Oh, nothing like that. It was more so the point. It never crossed that line.
Okay.
Except for me, who had those types of dreams to begin with, really.
Yeah.
But weird things happened enough so that, family members would say they felt like they were being visited by dead family members because they felt like they were being watched, and they felt a presence in their room shortly after their deaths and things like that. People who believe these things more than I do, obviously.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't like, no one like woke up one night and was like, I saw Aunt Jean or whatever, or
nothing like that. Not like we hear voices or anything. No little girls skipping around singing songs.
Or someone running around upstairs when no one was upstairs.
Well, actually, we did. Yeah, no, you would hear footsteps sometimes.
Yes. Oh,
but it was a house, or like.
Yeah, because all houses have footsteps.
My sister would live in the basement. My sister was in the basement apartment, and she would yell at us for making noise, and we'd be like, we weren't home.
I
Things
mean,
like that,
Oh my god.
My dog was only like 10 pounds, so it wasn't her.
Right. Yeah. Little clickety clack upstairs wasn't. Yeah.
Exactly. She's not hearing high heels.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But it was mostly shit like that, to the point where even like my stepdad at one point was like, something's wrong with this place, even though he didn't believe in any of that shit.
Right. Well, that's always how it goes. It's like they don't want to.
There was just like a bad feeling there. Like, nice house, and it was our first house, really, because we didn't grow up with a lot of money. It was probably cheap. I never asked about money or anything like that. But I guess there was a reason we got that house. Who knows? But everyone felt that way, and no one liked the place. It was a weird environment, and then after we discovered everything, like a few months later, it all just stopped.
Huh. So after you kind of dug deep,
I don't think that those things were connected. Just like at some point, like after like 3 or 4 years, like there was just a day where it just felt different, and nobody ever experienced anything again.
But you all felt this way. It wasn't like
it was something where you can say like, "Have you felt weird lately?" and everyone know what you were talking about. And
right.
The answer was no.
Family experience.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. And that is going to do it for Felicia and Barnett. I want to thank both of them for coming on and openly and honestly discussing their experiences and beliefs on the matter. It's always nice and somewhat refreshing to have someone like Barnett, who's agnostic on the whole religion, paranormal thing, but who has also had experiences, and kind of see how he's able to reconcile the two. As you guys know, I love having differing viewpoints on this stuff, so having him and Felicia on was a real treat, and I really appreciate the insight into their experiences as far as the sleep paralysis phenomena goes. You can obviously look it up for yourselves, but if you want to find the painting of the mayor that Barnett had referenced, I will be including that in the description for this episode on my blog, A Bridge to Land, so you can find it there as well. And just to reiterate, episode 10 is forthcoming, and will wrap up season 2 of The Grave. As I stated in the intro, that episode will feature myself and my good friend Colin Carr, as he interviews me about my personal beliefs on certain topics that we've discussed across both seasons. I feel like at times I can be somewhat ambiguous as to my own personal beliefs, as this podcast isn't really about myself, but about the people I'm talking to. But I do want you to know where I stand on certain things as the host of the show, and to keep you guys updated on kind of my personal journey with the paranormal. So I'm really looking forward to talking with Colin, and I hope you guys will enjoy our discussion. And of course, I will let you know when that episode will be coming out. So thanks again for listening, guys. Really appreciate all the support. And as always, I hope to have you all back for some more scary stories.